Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Dairoku, and we are going to get to Shu's ending in this part. So, we're gonna have fun, unlike the last part, which, I mean, it was fine at the end, but like, I mean, just, look, what the actual fuck? Seriously? Like, pot and kettle here, don't give me the same bullshit and make me apologize for shit that you did and then, like, never bring it up because, like, what? Because you're a man? You're all of a sudden somehow, but fuck that shit. Like, I just, what was happening there? Why? Like, girl, I'm gonna need you to get a backbone and just be like, I mean, yeah, true, but, like, also, you did the same shit? But we're fine. It's fine. Whatever. It's frustrating, but... And, I mean, they did kind of wrap up the whole plot thing, like, we're sorry, okay, no biggie, and everything's fine. Like, I mean, you knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen. That's just the way these go and the way this game goes, so I'm not that mad about it, but, like, damn, you had such a good idea. I gotta sneeze. It's such a good idea for a plot, and you put it in a game where you're like, we're really not gonna do anything with it, though, but, My sneezes have come out of nowhere. Anyway, but, you know, so you knew it was gonna happen, but for some reason, I just feel like this plot, all the rest of them was like, okay, so this guy's gonna come, and then he's gonna be, like, a dick, and, like, something. You know, okay, you're like, yeah, all right, yeah, it's just kind of, like, threw some shit together, because it's supposed to go fast. This one, you were like, okay, so they want to, like, take over, and here's this whole thing, and you're like, that could be awesome, but we're just gonna be like, nah, bro, I'm not into it, sorry, cool, and we're fine, and then you're like, wait, what? This one just had so much, like, whoever came up with the plot for this one was, like, just didn't understand the assignment. They were like, here's the plot! And they're like, yeah, but, like, you realize that we just needed a quick freaking idea, like, just the first thing, and you actually, like, took the time and thought about it, and had, like, a really great idea that we're going nowhere with. So it's, like, slightly disappointing. But, you know, anyway... We're gonna get the happy ending, and I'm sure it'll be lovely. But whatever. Anyway. Hello? Anyway. There you are! You're late! I was waiting for you, you know. I call into the room, and Shu jumps out of his own room, rushing toward me. I couldn't help but laugh at the noisy greeting. Was I that late? I'm sorry. I had the day off today and had promised to go to Shu's house. I had gotten here a bit earlier than promised, so I was happy to know that he was excited for me to come over. She's like, was I late? I got here early. Girl, don't let him do this to you. Welcome. I was actually just about to ready some tea. Orochi, hello. Thank you always. Oh no, Shu's always the most excited whenever you're to come over. After his quick comment, Orochi recedes back further into the room. I mean, I am glad that Orochi didn't turn out to be, like, the mega douche, and, like, he was the bad guy. It was like, they're both kind of the bad guys, so it was like, alright, because, like, I want, like, you know, you want your love interest and their bromance to, like, stick together, not like, well, your bromance is a dick. It's like, no, you're both kind of assholes, so that works. You know what I mean? And Orochi was like, I'm just gonna give all of myself to you. Like, okay. Like, their bromance backstory was actually the best. I mean, again, whoever came up with Shu's concept, like, this is the plot, this is going to be the antagonist whole issue thing, and then this is their bromance. Like, you had a really great idea for, like, a story, something, and then they put it in this game where it's like, I mean, we're going to half-ass it. I'm not complaining about the game. But that's what this game is. It's supposed to be just light, fluffy, the plot's just easy, like, yada yada, some guy comes in and yells, and then we tell them to leave, and they leave, and everything is happy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're trying to, like, get a plot, but it's like, but you got, like, 15 minutes. We got a 15 minutes that we gotta have, like, antagonist, and then resolution. You know, we gotta have the problem and resolution all in, like, the shortest amount of time. And, like, easily done. You know? Which is fine. But everyone else's is like, just kind of kept it relatively simple. You know, not too in depth. You couldn't dig too deep into it. It's fluffy. And then Shu and Orochi is just like, well, there's so much we could do with this, but we're just not gonna. Okay, like, it's confusing. Like, I feel like they could take this idea and like to a whole other fucking game with this concept. Like, I'm just saying. So, anyway. After his quick comment, Orochi recedes back further into the room. 2 weeks passed since the alleged abduction. Alleged? I mean, he actually did abduct you. You forgave him, but he still abducted you. It's not alleged. Just as he promised, Shu signed the statement and changed his relationship with the Sixth. Peace returned to Sakuratani, but it was a displeasing result for the Ayakashi who served under Shu. Their group essentially disbanded, and this once busy hideout full of Ayakashi, only Shu and Orochi remained. And I'm assuming should be in this once busy hideout, only Shu and this once busy hideout full of Akashi, only Shu and Orochi remained. It's like two different. Like, Tim was drunk, okay? Tim's been a little drunk right in this one. However, Shu didn't seem to care about that at all and looked at me with a bright expression. All right, let's go to the room. Oh, right. You can take your time here today, right? Yeah, I can. All right, then I'll show you my favorite things. Your favorites? Yeah, all the things that are cool and pretty. After that, Shu brought in several antiques and rocks that seemed like shiny fragments of jewels. There were objects that would fetch a high price in the real world, things a child might treasure. We sit together on the sofa and he grabs up a small pot from the objects gathered on the table. This is a pot I've loved from way long ago. I liked it at first sight when I found it in a shop. Might have been pricey, but I bought it. Look, it's cool with the markings that look like a water dragon, right? Oh, you're right. It's like a dragon climbing up to the heavens. It's so nice. Yeah, right? And this small box over here? Shu happily explained what each of the items were and what he liked most about them. Oh my god, if somebody came to my house and was like, show me all of your shit and tell me everything, we'd be here for fucking a year. Be like, alright, let's just go with this shelf this time. Like, there's just a lot of stuff in my house, is what I'm saying. I got a lot of stuff. Shu really has changed. He was never this cheery before. As I thought to myself while watching Shu, I looked up to see his eyes meeting my own. What's up? Were you listening to me just now? Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about something. Something? Yeah, just that you seem so bright. He looked as if someone had just struck him, then his cheeks went red as if he were embarrassed. You don't really think that, do you? I do. You seem to be enjoying yourself more. I see. Shu's eyes wandered around nervously before he spoke again, firmly, as if he had made a decision. If that's the case, then it's all because of you, Spacey. Huh? I was surprised by what he said, but noticed something else as well. Just now he called me by my name. Shu, how you addressed me... Shu turns bright red instantly. I decided to change it. Shu looks away to hide his embarrassment. Why? Well, Orochi helped me realize something. He said stuff like, hey, you isn't a nice way to address you, and that it'd be better to call you something else. I mean, we had the conversation with him to call us by name or whatever. Did he not refer to us as... I just wasn't paying attention, so... And now he's finally listening to us. Oh, but we asked him, could you please not refer to me as you and call me Spacey? Whatever. And then Orochi's like, actually, you should call her by name. Oh, okay, I'll do that. Really? Because a man said it? What? I think it's just because, honestly, like, when we asked, he was like, I don't know if I trust you. But he trusted Orochi. And then now Orochi's like, maybe you should actually listen to her. Like, we were totally wrong, and we were being jerks, and... now we should actually be nice to people. He's like, alright. So, okay, I'll give you that. My smile appeared out of reflex from hearing Shu change how he addressed me. A considerate gesture, but what Shu said next shocked me even more. And just as I wasn't the reincarnation of a blue dragon, I'm not the Yamato no Orochi either. What? Wait, where did this come from all of a sudden? And what Orochi said before... You both were originally Yamato no Orochi, separated upon reincarnation. Well, it's actually a bit different. Back then, it seemed like Orochi didn't tell the full story, so I wouldn't be disappointed. Did you know that Yamato no Orochi was defeated by some guy named Susan or something? Susano? Susan or something? It's probably supposed to be Susan. Susan? I do. Susano no Mikoto. Susano no Mikoto. That's a lot. Right, that guy. It happens that I was a human who was secretly watching that man defeat Yamato no Orochi, but I got pulled into the fight and died along with it. When we reincarnated, Yamato no Orochi's souls fused together at one point and separated again. So it wasn't a lie that Yamato no Orochi's power would return if Orochi and I fused together. But you were a separate being from it? Yep, wasn't anything divine. Strongest Ayakashi. Like you. Oh, thanks. I must have been a really want to get defeated. There were so many times about where Shu gave me the just he might have gotten that soul during his reincarnation, which explained the imbalance. So I'm not gonna act better than others anymore. I have a competitive relationship with you, so I'm gonna address you by your name. Shu looked straight at me as he almost refreshed look on him. Like, just think of that whole backstory, like, all of it. I think I'm an awesome blue dragon. It's like, well, actually, no. We were, like, the same soul split in half, and then blah, blah, blah. Like, it's like an amazing story idea, you know? And, like, but then he was like, but actually, I was a human who got sucked in, and then this weird thing happened. And, like, all of that, you're like, there is a lot to this that you could just so delve into and make amazing, you know? I don't feel like you can make it in a Tome game, though, because it really sounds like it would be, like, one character. Or, like, you and that character. You were the split soul! So, how would you date other characters? Unless your end-all, be-all, you know, canon route is this one. Even though there's not really canon routes, but there are poster boys. And the poster boy route would be, you know, this one. Where, like, wait, you mean we used to be the same being? But then it would be like, actually, no, we weren't. But, like, but I still have a part of your soul when you were split and, like, whatever. And, like, that'd be kind of fucking romantic. I'm just saying. Orochi and fucking Shu have a little bit more of a romance than we do. I'm just gonna put that out there, so. Like, goddamn, like, turn this idea into its own game and, like, figure shit out. Because, like, this would be amazing. Like, I like the story where you're going with it. Like, there's so much to work with here. And yet, just gloss over it, it's fine. Something, stuff happened, really great backstory, and we're done. Like, I don't know. Anyway. Shu looked straight at me as he spoke this time with a clear, almost refreshed look on him. I think we read that? I don't know. The old Shu would have been so disappointed if he heard the truth was that he was a human and not the reincarnation of a blue dragon. But it really doesn't seem like that big of a deal to Shu as he is now. I mean, could you imagine, like, I'm a blue dragon, but you're not. Oh. You're Yamato no Orochi. Yeah, but, like, only half of it. Oh. But actually... He's like, well, actually, that's cool. Yeah, but actually, you were just, like, a human and a little bit like... the fucking roller coaster he's been on in, like, the last day. So much about Shu has changed after that incident. At that point, you're like, I just give up. He's livelier and much easier to be around, and he might be even cooler than he was before. As I looked into Shu's face, Shu furrowed his brow in worry, mistaken that something must have been wrong from my silence. Why aren't you saying anything? You weren't happy? Do you like the old way better? Oh, no, that's not it at all. I'm really happy. But if that's the case, there's an even nicer way to address me, you know? Wanting to tease him a bit more, I dance around the subject, and Shu's eyes open wide as he gets closer. Really? What is it? Well, it's obvious, isn't it? My first name. Using that would be even more special, wouldn't it? Well, he did call me Spacey, so... Shu, you've never called me by it before. I mean, okay. Do you actually remember it? Which I think is... Okay. I feel like when they're doing the translation, I get what they were doing. Well, okay, I don't, because they never had the right name in the right spots, and they couldn't get the coding right, so they don't know really what the hell's happening. But I understand in certain instances, it's a two-way street, right? It's difficult, because You know, for American audiences, if you were calling me by my last name constantly, I'm like, that's fucking weird. Or like, you know, your last name's Son, but then they change it to Mr. Last Name, and you're like, could you stop calling him Mr. Last Name? It's fucking weird. I get that that's like what they do in Japan, and that's fine, but when you're translating in English, we don't call anyone like, Todd Smith is my love interest, I'm gonna call him Mr. Smith. Are we in a professional setting? Okay. But otherwise, we're friends. I'm not calling him Mr. Smith. That's fucking weird. Like, that's weird. There's so many games where it happens, and I'm like, it's kind of creepy. Could you stop calling them that? Because it just comes off odd and awkward in certain situations. But, like, I feel like they need to pay attention to the translation and the localization and the game more, because there are times like this where in this instance, he would have called us Akitsu, right? And we were like, you could call us Spacey, and then he'd be like, oh, okay. And that would make more sense. So, like, I'm of two minds of it. Like, I don't want them to constantly be calling me by my last name. You know what I mean? And in every other part of this, even when they fucked up and they've called her Shino, which was her first name. You know what I mean? So, like, but I feel like they need to pay attention. And in this scenario, when they're reading it and they're like, oh, there's a name. Okay, he calls her this. Okay, because later... Oh, okay. Yeah, make sure that he calls her Akitsu. So you'd be like, wait, what? And then this sentence would make more sense. Like, you get it, but it kind of breaks your immersion a little because you're like, I mean, I know what's happening here, but, like, attention to detail. But they're literally just translating, like, who knows? Somebody's translating this line, somebody else is translating that, somebody's doing that, and nobody's like... But if you're translating like, okay, here's this scene, you should know from the scene, from beginning to end, what is happening in it, that, oh, it wouldn't make sense for him to call her first name. We should input last name, whatever it is. You know? So that she says, call me by my first name. You've never done that. Well, you asked him to, and I'm pretty sure he did. And then now he just did, and now you're making so it's weird. Like... But I think attention to detail on the translation is what's needed in all the games, because sometimes they rush them and there's typos and there's weird things. Or in this one, the coding issues where they're calling her the wrong name constantly. And you're like, what is happening? So, but it's just, I don't know. I don't want them calling me by my last name unless it makes sense for the rest of the script in the scene. Where, like, in this case, it makes fucking sense why he would have called her last name. Because then she brings it up. But if he was just calling her and we never said anything about it, don't call me by my last name, because that's... I mean, like, I get it, but it's also awkward. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, they just need to pay better attention to what the fuck is happening in the scene. Because that always throws you off. Every time. Like, you're like, wait, what? He just called us by her first name. You're like, oh, hearing my first name for the first time. And you're like, he's been calling you by your first name for, like, the last 6 months. What is happening? Like, you get it, but it also ruins some of the impact. I don't know. You just need to pay attention. Of course, if he'd been calling us Spacey in the other scenes and you were only doing that, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, really, because, like, somebody has to know what the fuck is happening in the game to know that it doesn't make sense, or it makes sense, or whatever, but... Obviously, they're whipping it out, so nobody's getting used to the story. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm translating his whole route. It's like, here's a bunch do this. Okay, you're done. Do this. You're done. Do this. You're done. And then, like, you're whipping it out, which is why there's random typos. The kid's name was fucking wrong. This is happening. Tim was drunk. Like, they need to simmer down and, like, do a little bit better QA and take a little bit more time with the translations is all. I'm just saying. You know? Especially because we're getting a lot of games, so that's awesome. You can take a little bit of extra time and, like, you know, it'll be okay. We'll be fine. Because, like, it's not one game a year. We're getting, like, 5. You're shelling out, like, 3 or 4 of them within a month period of time. Take a little bit of time, spread them out a little bit. You know, don't do 6 in a month. Maybe spread them out like 1 every other month. That'd be fine with me. You know? If you're gonna do 6 in a month, then you better be doing 6 every fucking month for the shit that we're dealing with. I'm not gonna complain about the translations, because the more games, the better I'll suffer. But, like, I am gonna still complain, because, like, I'm just saying. It's just a little bit of extra time. Should take an extra hour at the end of the day to, like, double check your work, okay? Anyway. You've never called me by it before. Do you remember it from 2 seconds ago? It's fucking bizarre. Your name? Replying with a small murmur, Shu's ears grow red. Of course I do. I remember. This guy literally just said it. I see. Well, I'd sure appreciate if you used it. Right now? Yeah, now. Let's just practice once. Having a bit of fun, I made my proposal jokingly. See, this would be so much cuter and more fun if he called her Akitsu before. It's a bit sudden. Again, we know, but it's still like I know that that's what he should have said. And you can pretend, but it still just makes it, you're like, just ruins it a little. I don't know. You'll be fine. If you can change to Spacey, you can definitely call me by my name. It's like this! If you could change to Spacey, you could call me by my name. Do you know what I'm saying? Who coded that? So, pay attention! Because she... If you can change to Akitsu, you can definitely call me by my name. That's what it should have said. I just don't feel like it's my job, reading this, to know what name should be where, and when you say Shino, like, alright, I gotta change it to Spacey, but oh no, wait, in this case, Spacey should be Akitsu, and then later, he's gonna call her Shino, and it should be Spacey. Like, what the actual fuck is going on? I need to be drunk. It was clear he was embarrassed, but that just made him even cuter, and I couldn't help myself. I'd like it if you said it. Please? Come on. I exaggerate my request, and Shu takes a breath in making his decision. Fine. Unless for some reason, when they coded it, they were thinking first name should be where last name goes, and then last name is Shino instead of Akitsu. Like, did they fuck up somehow? I don't know. How did they screw that up so bad? He's really bracing himself for it. See? So, like, you put in... So, Shino is her first name. We changed it to Spacey. But everywhere they're supposed to be calling her Spacey, they call her Shino. And then do you think when they're calling her Spacey, they're supposed to be fucked up the coding? Even worse than you think. Like, there's plenty of times where they're calling me Spacey, not actually calling on. So, when the mosquito was calling out my name, Shu hides his face. There. Yeah. I kind of feel embarrassed myself. It had been a while since I'd felt the tingling sensation that they somehow were coding it so that when people were calling her by her last name, they changed it. Wouldn't call someone by their last name when they're saying Akitsu's name. But then they never changed the for when they're calling her Shino. Pick her. And if that you're in the coding. So you have a scenario where they're calling her by her last name, but then we're going to call her by her first name. And then there's scenarios where they're calling her first name, but we're going to call her by her first name. And you don't think that that's going to be a little awkward and weird? That maybe you should have, like, looked into it and been like, okay, so where? Okay, in the instances where we're calling her by her last name, and then later that same character calls her by her first. Okay, maybe we just leave last name to last name and first name to first name. And it would have made sense. Because, like, again, I mean, I get where they were going, and I would rather them call me by my first name. But if there's going to be instances like this where they make a point about the switch, and because some games they really don't. You know what I mean? It's just like, whatever, there's not like a huge thing. You know? I don't know, it's strange. Like, anyway. It'd have been, okay, we've read that already. My face is hot. Yeah, huh? Thanks, Shu. You don't have to do it all the time, just when you want to. Right, I'll do that. After that, Shu's eyes wander, if deep in thought. Shu, what's wrong? That? I just called you by a different name, but there isn't any other name you can call me. Oh, that's right. Everyone calls you Shu. In fact, most Ayakashi were the same way. It's no use. Even Orochi calls me Shu, so there's no other way to say it. Shooby-dooby-doo. There you go. So he wants me to call him by another name. I wonder what would work. Shrimp tart? I don't know. Friends use nicknames for each other all the time, especially if they're close. I told you, don't worry about it, alright? Alright. Okay then, Zuzu. I felt a bit of resistance, but it was more amusing to see Shu's face grow brighter red after that. I suddenly understood why Sammy was the way he was. I know how it feels now, teasing someone. Oh, Sammy's a bad influence. But going any further would embarrass me. Maybe just for special occasions. Kind of, you know what, don't answer that. Yeah, whatever, fine. After nodding, resetting himself and clearing his throat, Shu looks at me again. We got off topic, but if you think I'm having fun every day now, that's because you're here. So long as you and Orochi are with me, Spacey, that's all I feel I need. I have to sneeze again. Okay, that's kind of cute. Orochi, my other half, and although you aren't another half of me, you're so important to me and make me happy just by being around. It's like, you're not actually another half of me like Orochi literally is, but you're still like my other half, so. Cute. We're a throuple now. To me, you're, well, special. Through stuttered words and wavering eyes, Shu did his best to express himself. I can't believe it's taken the whole fucking game for me to be like, oh, when they call her Shino, it's because they're calling her Spacey. When they call her Spacey, it's Akitsu. So, like... But, like, seriously? Like, come on. Each and every earnest feeling he put into his words made even me feel happier. Thank you. It makes me so happy to be told that. They just need I mean, I get it, they're not going to do it, but they need that extra, like, little QA step in coding where they're, like, going through the game and being like, okay, in this instance, he's calling her last name, but the rest of the scene, it makes sense. So, even though in the coding it says pull from first name, or pull from last name, and then they changed it, like, anywhere it says pull from last name, pull from first name, and then whatever... And then from first name, just leave it Shino. You know, like, they should have done a little extra and been like, okay, in this instance, we need to change this and say instead of pulling her first name, pull her last name. You know? Because they could still have, like, Sammy and Yakumo calling me Spacey, that's fine. But this is a scenario where it makes more sense for him to be like, Akitsu, see? I called you something else, and you're like, why don't you just call me Spacey? You know? Where, like, even though we asked him to before, it would be like, oh, okay, maybe he wasn't quite ready for it. You know, you could work your way around it as opposed to it being, like, awkward and driving me crazy in the back of my mind for, like, an hour. Anyway. Thank you, it makes me so happy to be told that. Anyway. I was glad to have believed in Shu that we kept trying to get us to understand each other. Thank you. Is that it? Shu dropped his shoulders, looking disappointed. Huh? What do you mean, is that it? No, I just... thought you might have more to say. More to say? Not sure what Shu was asking for. I tilted my head in confusion. Maybe I didn't really sound that happy to him. Should I have exaggerated how happy I was? Really, thank you so much. I'm really, really, really happy. I clasped my hands together at my chest. Oh, good God, girl. Forget it. Huh? He's even more disappointed now. Wondering what could have been wrong, the door opens and in enters Orochi with some tea. I happened to overhear Shu. However, I don't think Spacey would understand if you don't make it more clear. Or Akitsu in this case, I guess. Orochi! What do you mean more clear? I sat there in confusion at his cryptic answer. But as Orochi wore a meaningful grin, he simply placed the tea on the table without explanation. It seemed he had no intention of letting me know. Shu, you must be a man here and take charge. A man, huh? You're right. Okay, got it. Urged on by Orochi, Shu stands up as if he's made a decision. He then grabs my hand and pulls me close. Are we gonna get a CG now? Hey, Spacey, we're going out. What, now? Yeah, right now. Come on. He pulled my hand more, pulling me up to my feet. But Orochi just brought us some tea. Don't mind me. Please go enjoy yourselves. And do your best, Shu. Not minding at all, Shu waves goodbye at us. Orochi waves goodbye at us with a smile on his face. That's what it should be. Wait! Just where are we going? Confession. Ooh. The place Shu eventually brought me to was the Firefly Garden here in Makatsui. It was the garden of a building that looked like a retreat and was a place loved by residents of Sakuratani to enjoy their leisure time. Alright, no one's here. Shu looked around, wary of anyone else's presence. Yeah, because that could be awkward. Shu, why did we come here? Well, Orochi told me you've got to do stuff like this where there's a pretty view. Stuff like this? I wonder what's gotten into him. Saying we had to go out, and he still hasn't calmed down. Although I was sure he had something in mind, so I decided to wait for his reply. I'm about to tell you something important. Okay. He moved in from me, looking straight at me, and after taking a large breath, began to talk. He moved in front of me. I read that word. When we first met, I thought of you as an annoying nuisance. I didn't want to have to deal with you. You always talk to me. I thought as much, but he really didn't like that, huh? But that all changed. You didn't look at me with suspicion just because I was part of Mitsuchi, and I felt like you wanted to know more about me. It felt so new and fun to talk about so many things. To talk with you. Shu, hearing for the first time about how his feelings changed, I remember about back then as well. At first, I thought he was arrogant and difficult. However, as we spent more time together, my doubt went away, and we were able to become closer. You were different from the other Ayakashimori. I never met anyone like you before, so I just didn't know what to do at first. It's so fun being around you, and I want to talk with you more. I get a bit lonely whenever you have to leave. And I don't want you to be sad, and I want you to keep smiling, so that's why I want to try and be nice to you. Shu's voice wavers and shrinks. In his nervousness, I knew he was trying his hardest to find the best words to say. I've never felt this about anyone before. You really are special to me. Aww, okay, the CG's adorable. I love it. He drew closer to me and held my hands. She was, like, not my favorite, just because we never get to know him beforehand, and then, like, there's just shit in the route that I was just like, I don't know. And he's kind of like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like, I don't know. Just, not my favorite character. But this is a really cute CG. Spacey, I like you as more than a friend. I really do want you to be my other half. That's kind of cute. What? I love you, so I want to hear how you feel. Please say you like me too. Shoo. My mind couldn't keep up. I was blank-faced. Although a bit late, I finally understood why he was so nervous and was so red right now. So that's how he felt about me. As I reflected, I felt my cheeks go soft. You really are cute, Shu. Shu's eyes widened at my honest feelings. What? Why? I just told you my feelings as a man, so I should be cool, not cute. Yeah, that was cool. You're both cool and cute. Really, I just can't take my eyes off him. I felt an intense surprise and bewilderment in me, not thinking that he'd say all of this to me. I mean, because, like, she's kind of, like, adorably cute and stuff, like, they kind of worked together for me, but me personally, not Shu, but, like, for her, yeah, I kind of. But there I was, feeling happiness, because she's very, I don't want to say, like, simple, because she's not, you know what I mean, but it's, like, she's kind of easygoing. She's not, like, she's not super complex. It's just, I'm kind of like that. All the MCs are like that. I'm like the happy character, and like, I might get sad if you hurt my feelings, but they're very like, they are kind of simple. I mean, okay, you know what I mean? They're like little simple sunflower daisies, right? Like, I'm a little daisy, I'm a little sunflower, whatever. Which isn't normally a problem, but, okay, it is a problem a lot, because sometimes you're like, oh, for God's sakes. But even when they have a little sass or kick or anything, they're still just very, like, wholesome. And, like, even though he could be kind of a dick, like, on the cuteness scale, because he's got his cute little face, like, they do work. I feel like, I mean, all the romances have been good, but I do feel like this. Or even Shiratsky, I guess. But, like, her and Akuro, maybe not. He is one of my favorites, though. But, anyway. But there I was, feeling happiness. I knew that I wanted to see more of Shu. Sorry, I'm not really used to things like this, so I'm not sure what to do. But I like you too, Shu. Ayakashi or not, I like you. Shu, again, Jesus Christ. I didn't want to have to read that, but I figured, whatever. I want to be with you from now on, too. I can't answer just yet, but it'd make me happy if we could just take things slowly. Is that okay for an answer for you? I like you too, but like, I don't want to answer right now. You just told him, so. Just like Shu had done, I told him my feelings, not hiding or decorating my words with anything. I mean, I guess it's more like, I'm not ready to like get married. Like, unlike Shiratsuki's route, where it was just like forced on you. Well, it wasn't exactly, it wasn't really a wedding ceremony, but still. Listening to me intently, Shu lets out a sigh of relief and flashes his teeth in a smile. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take it slow. We just need to get closer little by little. Yeah, thank you. You too! I'm so glad I was able to say all that. Alright, let's head back. Shu still seemed a bit embarrassed, but he took my hand and started to walk off. But just then, the trees nearby shook, making a few leaves above fall down above us. Wondering what it was, I raised my head to see... Sharatsky.
Oh my! Oh, what a sight! Oh, what a sight we had the absolute pleasure of witnessing.
How should I put it? And this situation here must be when one feels it tingly all over. Akuro, I don't need you making fun of me. There's something about that that's like, oh, stop. I feel more embarrassed. Not because Shiratsky did. I feel more embarrassed that Akuro watched this. I don't know. What? Shiratsky? Akuro? I was well acquainted with these people in the branch above us. The two of them stood there grinning, enjoying themselves. Okay, like, then again, you know, you're like, she's like, oh, like a little daisy, like, whatever, and a little wholesome, and maybe not with that. But now this, Akuro, alright, you're just constantly surprising me, you goddamn glorious bastard. What are you two doing here?
And this garden's open to anyone. It's not strange for us to be here, right?
I was invited by Shiro. Yeah, okay, he's Shiro, right. See, that's also what I hate. Too close. I was invited by Shiro here to come drink, and then the two of you arrived. After that...
Since we happened upon you, we hid up in the tree and watched.
Why were you hiding? Damn it, I thought no one was here! Shiratsky and Akuro calmly explained their situation, and Shu stood red-faced in a panic. Could you imagine if you were like, no one's here, let's get frisky. Oh, dear God, they were being watched! Thank God you didn't kiss. Actually, that would have been funnier. These two watching us might mean trouble. They're both like, we're gonna tell everyone. Fuck. I get back to work and Sammy already fucking knows. Well, I picked out your wedding bouquet. Rumors spread. A few days later, walking through Kikutsune with Shu, we met some curious Ayakashi passing by.
Oh my, I guess it's true you two have become so close.
I was doubtful at first, but I guess it's true. So, which one of you confessed first? I mean, didn't Shiratsky tell everyone? Not bad, Ayakashimori. If you ever want to chat about love, I'll listen anytime. Figures. Everyone knows now. I knew this would happen after Shiratsky and Akuro teased us then, and I was completely right. I mean, Shiratsky, yeah. Stop staring at us! We're not some kind of show here! He tried to shoo off the Ayakashi around us, waving his hands, but he was even poked fun of for that gesture. Shu, we shouldn't mind... As I was about to say them, I noticed a figure I recognized.
So, Shu expressed his feelings red in the face, and it was all just so lovey-dovey. Only a matter of time until he's on a leash. I can't wait to see what ends up happening to him.
Shiratsky! Oh, that's me. Anyway, Shiratsky! Hey, stop! Don't say anymore!
Oh, speak of the devil!
Well, you little... You're having fun, aren't you? I'm having fun now. This is funny.
Why, how rude! All I want to do is lovingly watch over your relationship.
The hell you do! As Shiratsky narrows his eyes, presenting himself calmly, Shu takes his bait like a child. Snickering and laughter started around us as everyone watched the scene. I thought Shu was always so difficult to be around, but he's pretty adorable, actually. I know, he doesn't seem scary at all. He might actually be pretty fun. Hey, Shu, tell us more about what happened. What? Why do I have to do that for someone I don't even know, idiot? Oh, come on, don't be like that. Before I realized it, several Ayakashi had surrounded us. Almost all the Ayakashi that were part of Mitsuchi are gone now, but I think you'll gain a lot of new friends now. I was sure these cheery, fun days would be waiting for us in the future. My heart was dancing, thinking about the future. Meanwhile, Shu's nauseous. The end. But not. A miss, the actual romance end. The event ended in a success, and normal, peaceful life in Sakuratani returned. One day, while on my rounds, I walked briskly through Makatsui on my way to take my break. I wonder if Shu's there. Of all his hideouts, Shu kept only the one in Makatsui, vacating from all the other spots. Because Mitsuchi disbanded, there was no longer any reason to conceal himself. The reason he chose the Makatsui hideout as his base was because I was used to it. He told me that I could come over any time, and although he had no plans, I wanted to visit.
Oh, Shino, you going to Shu's now?
Oh, hi! Can you see it on my face? Called out to by an Oni I knew, I responded back, holding my cheek in hand.
I sure can. You always look so happy when you're headed over to Shu's. It's pretty obvious.
Is it? I could tell myself, too. Recently, I'm having the most fun during the time I'm spending with Shu. Hello? Oh, Spacey. When I arrived to Shu's hideout, Orochi alone greeted me. Huh, is Shu not here? Oh, correct, unfortunately. He left just a bit earlier. I see. I was the one who came without an invitation, and I let my shoulders drop in an obvious way. Seeing that, Orochi quietly laughs. You're so full of expression now that you've gotten closer to Shu, Spacey. Whoops! It came out on my face again, but... That's the same with you, Orochi. You seem much happier than before. Orochi was taken by surprise, tilting his head. However, his eyes softened back up right away, and he pushes up his glasses, which sagged down a bit. Well, that may well be because you've given me something new to look forward to and hope for. Something new to look forward to and hope for? Is that alright if I ask what that is? Yes, when my soul met with Shu's back then, touching that pure, innocent soul made me feel attachment and affection for the first time. And when we split again, I made a decision. I'd watch over my other half with great care. So Shu got all the emotion and you got none of it, is what you're saying? You're like, I was faking it before and now I understand. Aww. Narrowing his eyes as if he were looking fondly far into his past, Orochi quietly continues to speak. However, I had thought I'd have nothing left if my objective of making Shu's dream come true disappeared, but I was wrong. Shu has now found you. A future where you and Shu are happy together is the thing I look forward to and hope for now. Orochi, you gotta get some dreams of your own, man. My heart thumped and heat swelled in my cheeks. Noticing the change in me, Orochi smiled even more happily. Please take care of Shu, Spacey. I will. It really feels like I'm talking to Shu's family. Actually, I'm sure the two of them are family. Oh, that's right. Shu mentioned he had something to ask Tokitsugu and his squad, and perhaps he's gone to see them. Sammy and Yakumo? You're part of his squad too, but... An unexpected name came up. Shu seemed to have let go of his hostility toward the Ayakashimori, but I wondered what he could be asking. You do not get to ask Sammy for my hand in marriage, bro. They might be on a break, or might be at Nakakuni. Thank you, I'll head over and see. I bow my head in thanks and rush out of the room. I'm supposed to be doing my rounds, but I'm busy looking for my boyfriend. I mean, I don't really know. It could be our day off. Did she say that? I don't remember. Secret talk. I get back to Nakakuni on the Oboroguruma taxi, and as I get closer to the office building...
So, that's why. It should be better, right?
I think might be good. I feel like there should have been like a ... somewhere in there, but... I see. Interesting. He's there. Sammy, Yakumo, and Shu all sat on a bench talking with somewhat serious expressions. So what should I do next?
Next, I'll let you do it. The mood's more important than anything.
If it were me, would be nice. Though some might say pretty cliche. Are you talking about how you're gonna kiss me? Because that's the weirdest thing to be talking to my boss and my coworker about. What? I need to buy this pretty cliche. Oh, that's not what I meant. What are they talking about? Like that she was like, I want to get a pretty cliche. What's a pretty cliche? I want one. It sounds nice. I couldn't tell what they said as their voices cut in and out. I was hesitant at first, but decided to call out to them. Deciding to call out to them, I headed toward them.
Hey, Spacey.
When I call out to them, Shu seemed surprised, but Sammy grinned his usual undisturbed smirk. Spacey, hello! Hi, everyone. I went over to your place, Shu, and Orochi said you might have come to see Sammy. I'm sorry, were you in the middle of something?
No, not at all.
We're done here, right, Shu? Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go eat now, so we'll be taking our leave.
Later.
Huh? Without any time to stop them, the two of them quickly and unnaturally leave us. But why? What were you talking about with them? Nothing in particular. Don't worry about it. That doesn't make me feel better. With the barrier, Ayakashi needed Ayakashimori's permission to enter Nakakuni. Ergo, he took the effort to make plans to meet someone here. He wouldn't come here if there wasn't a reason. Before I could question him further, Shu spoke. More importantly, when's your next day off? My day off? It's the day after tomorrow. Alright, we're going out then. What? What, you don't want to? Oh, no, it's not that I don't want to. Then no problem. Be sure to keep your day open. Okay. In the end, our conversation went on without me knowing why they were together, and our plans for the following day were decided. Girl, obviously you were like, oh, were you just planning something with these bastards? Yes. First date. This is our first stop. Today was my day off. I promised to spend with Shu. He brought me to Kikutsune, and we were in front of Tamamo's store. If we came here, does he have something to buy? Shu, is there something you want to get here? Yeah, no I don't. So, which one is it? Never mind, you'll know in a sec, come on. Shu, strangely energized, pulls me by the hand and we enter the store.
Well, if it isn't Spacey and the little boy. If you're both here, does that mean you were spending your day off together?
Hi, Tamamo. It's been a while. Yeah, that's basically it.
I see. So this is a date, then?
Why is your voice weird? Anyway. I wonder who taught her the word date. Maybe Sammy or Chief Tokiwa. Chief Tokiwa probably taught her some things. She probably taught him some things, too. I'm just saying. Embarrassed from being called out, I try and laugh it off. I quickly look to the side to see Shu's cheeks stained red. Looking at Shu's state as well, Tamamo puts on her crescent-shaped smile with her red lips. I mean, like, can you really blame the chief? Like, girl, those boobs. Jesus. You kind of forget until all of a sudden she, like, turns around and then you're like, hello, what? I'm just... Jesus, Tamamo. Your shirt is gonna fall off. I mean, that's a magic kimono that it stays right there and there's no nip slip going on. Like, she's probably got a lot of boob tape going on.
Oh dear, you really are such a precious boy.
Shut up, I told you to stop calling me that. Just show me all the jewelry you have in the store. Not for guys, but for women. Huh.
Ah, you intend to get something for Spacey?
Yeah, I do. Shu. Watching Shu nod as he grew red, I say his name in surprise. Shu turns in my direction. He explains himself awkwardly from his embarrassment. I'm gonna buy you something to put on, so pick whatever you want. But...
Well, how nice, Spacey. The man here is insisting, so take him up on his offer.
Tamamo interrupted my confused stammering, walking over to one of the shelves and bringing back a flat case.
From what I have now, these will suit you, Spacey. They're new items I just got in recently.
Wow. I was taken by the gorgeous, dazzling rings, necklaces, and hair ornaments lined up inside, and I couldn't help but express my admiration. Pick whatever you want. Are you sure? Yeah, I want to buy you something you want to put on yourself all the time. I want you to keep on whatever gift it is I buy. I could hear my heart loudly beating again. Well, not a hair ornament, because you wouldn't wear that all the time. Thanks. Okay, then. I turned my gaze back at the case. If it's all the time, maybe a necklace, since I can put it on under my uniform during work. What do you think of this one? I chose a simple and adorable necklace with a thin chain, yet had a shining jewel on the end of it. All right. Shu nods, and after picking up the necklace, moves behind to put it on me. How cute. Oh my god, did we get a CG of this? Oh, come on. I need a CG of this. I turned back and looked at Shu, but we were both so embarrassed we couldn't look at each other. How do I look? Yeah, you look really good with it. Thanks. Really, you two are such an adorable pair. We're both stuttering messes, which is kind of cute. Hearing Tamamo laugh beside us made me feel ticklish all over again. I don't necessarily mind when our MC's being like a stuttering, embarrassed mess if our boyfriend's being a stuttering, embarrassed mess because we're playing off each other. But like, okay, like whatever. But when we're like, oh my god, and he's like totally stoic, it's like, it's a little much. It's a little weird. I like it better when it's like this. You know, we're both a little bit awkward as fuck. I want us both to be awkward. Second confession. We leave Tamamo's store and, at Shu's suggestion, come to the main road covered in Fujizakura trees. Looking at the tree in full bloom, we walked slowly toward the giant tree. It seemed to be where Shu intended to go from the beginning. Wait, is this? Hey, Shu? Could today's plans be from the advice you got from Seimi and Yakumo? Shu's shoulders flinched in response to my question. So they are, huh? I soon thought this was what he discussed with those two before. I understood now why he told me he'd buy me jewelry, too. I wanted to go out with you, but I didn't know what would make you happy, so I asked those two, since they're always around you. Tukitsugu told me he'd definitely be excited by his recommendation. His recommendation? He wanted so much to make me happy that he went through the effort of talking with those two. Those thoughts filled my chest with the same ticklish, sweet sensation from before. You aren't having fun? No way I am. Thank you. I'm happy and I'm having a lot of fun. Shu looked relieved in his embarrassment. Okay, that's good. Let's get to the Fujizakura and watch the blossoms together. Yeah, that sounds good. And adorable. The sakura here really are pretty. Looking up from down below, we looked at the giant tree, practically covering the entire sky. We were alone, basking in quiet, letting ourselves surrender to the spiritual comfort as if we were standing before an altar. Oh, this background froze for a second. Spacey, I always have the most fun with you. I want you to be with me from here on out, too. I like you. It can't be anyone else. Shu. His second confession sank warmly into my chest. Warm heat. This weird sentence. I would just end like that, but I felt as if I heard a twinge of something bittersweet within me. I like you, Spacey. Shu's hands touch both my shoulders. He gently pulls me in close, and his eyes, more serious than I'd ever seen them before. There you go. There's our kissy CG. Inch closer to me. As if pulled into his gaze, my own eyes closed, and I received the warmth that touched my lips. That was like the quickest fucking kiss CG ever! What the fuck? After our lips part and I slowly open my eyes, I see Shu. His face red as an apple, staring right back at me. Well, maybe it'll come back. You don't do this sort of thing between friends, right? People who do this are... Well, yeah, I know. I was thinking of taking things slow, but I already know what I feel now. This painful ringing in my chest is something you'd never feel between just friends. I like you too, Shu. Not just as friends, but like a significant other. Significant other? Someone you have feelings for. Someone you think of as a boyfriend or a lover. Do you get it? Shu's eyes opened so wide they could have fallen out. Really? I wouldn't even joke about this. Oh, okay, stop it. That's even cuter than the kissy Gigi. That's adorable. But he does look like 8. He looks like a little kid, like so happy that his mom returned home or some shit, but I still love it. It's adorable. When I smile awkwardly back to him, the next instant I was squeezed tightly within Shu's arms. I like you, Spacey. I'm in love with you. Yeah, I'm in love with you too. You're my mate. You're mine and mine alone. Yeah. Squeezed tightly by him, I nodded as I felt Shu's warmth and the beating of his heart. It'd be weird to be called a mate by anyone who's not like an Ayakashi. It makes kind of sense. At that moment, I didn't really know if love between an Ayakashi or a human would work out, or what sort of struggles we would face. But if I'm with Shu, we'll tackle all of that with everything we had, making everything work somehow. I'm gonna be kind to you and take care of you. I promise I'll make you happy. Shu's voice was so strong and reassuring. I'll take care of you too. I'll take care of this budding love forever. I made my vow, feeling an overwhelming sense of happiness. Oh, how preciously cute. Shu unlocked private files. Private files. Anyway, we don't read those till the end, and then we'll turn the voice acting on and then listen. But we need to go find his secret thingy, so this part's gonna be a little bit longer, but that's because, like, boop! Let's go back up. Where are they? We have to go to chapter 4 and 7. No. I think if we just load this one, we'll just load the original one, like our prior one. And then we should be able to do it. So we should be able to go to flowchart, because we've passed the things, so. That was just, okay, here we go. That's flat. It's hard to see that. Yeah, that's holding hands. Yeah, chapter 4. Okay. Alrighty, alrighty. I'll come back again. After a quick bow, she heads off home. She looked so nervous when she first arrived, but she had a bounce in her step as she walked away. It was annoying, but there was this fidgeting emotion in my chest, like a ticklish happiness. Wait, what the hell am I thinking? In any case, there were so many complicated emotions I'd never felt before filling my chest. It's all her fault. I lifted up my hand and stared at it. It was so warm. And the closest one to me is Orochi, but I'd never hold hands with him. This is my first time holding hands with someone. I never knew that's how warm a body could be. That, like, out of context, is so, like, ominous. A part of me felt calmed after feeling the warmth of someone's body. Possibly because it was proof they were really there right in front of me. Still, it's not so much as calm as it is this pressure. For the first time, the blood inside me felt like it was boiling even though I wasn't angry. I grabbed her hand because I was annoyed at her, but my heart beat so hard and loud it got so hard to breathe that I let go in the end. Is it because I'm just not used to it? Can I touch someone else without any problems? She's completely gone now, but I kept staring in the direction she disappeared. I felt ridiculous just thinking about it, and embarrassment rose up again. Ugh, jeez. Still, what the heck is she thinking, touching me casually like that? She always like that? All my annoyance gradually became anger. Jeez, I've talked to plenty of other Ayakashimori before, but none of them have ever dragged me around like this before. Whether she was just like that normally or working so hard because she was new, she keeps closing the distance between us even though I had no intention of dealing with her. She's trying to break down my walls. She really is arrogant. Still, she was concerned about my hand back then and now. I was at a loss since no one other than Orochi ever worried about me like that before. I don't feel anything when Orochi worries, but with her, it makes me feel embarrassed, but happy. Just can't figure out what any of this means. She said she'd be coming back, and knowing how she is, I'm sure she actually will. When she does, I'll make sure I never mess up again like I did today. Just then a voice called out to me from behind. Shu, what is it? Is something the matter? You've been staring at your hand for an hour. I'm just kidding. I turned and see Orochi there with a puzzled look. Nothing's wrong. Your face seems a bit red. You're imagining things. I suggest you take a look in the mirror there. Orochi points at a mirror on a nearby wall. It was in a spot where it would reflect me, and I gasped in surprise when I saw myself. He was right. My cheeks were clearly blushing. They're still red now, then that means... I wonder just how red my face was earlier, and about how I should even act around her the next time I saw her. Ugh, damn it! Forget this! Anyways, I'm going back to my room. Shu... I couldn't think of an answer. Shouting back at Orochi, I walked off to my room. What does it mean I'm holding hands with a girl? Oh, God. Oh, nope. No, whoops, I hit the wrong button. Do, 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 do. Yes, okay. Meaning of cool. Yes. Hey, kid! You remember this place at all?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I see. If we don't know where they got separated and which way the other kid went, we really have no end to where we should search. It'll be an hour since we started searching. I glance over and see some sweat on the kid's cheeks. Takumi, are you okay? Are you tired? It seemed like she noticed too.
No, I'm okay.
The kid says he's fine, but he was clearly tired. He can't help it. He's just a kid. You, get over here. I pick up the kid and carry him, sitting him on my shoulders.
Whoa!
Hey, stop shaking. You can see further this way, right? Keep a lookout to see if your brother's out there.
Okay.
After the kid puts his hands on my head to steady himself, I begin to walk forward again. You really are kind, huh, Shu? She came closer to me, filling the space where the kid was just earlier, and smiled softly. I almost stopped moving, my heart skipping a beat, but I was able to endure it. This isn't like that. It's just better if he can see further. Sure, let's just say that's the case. She's smiling again. I grit my teeth, not knowing what I should say back to her. Whenever she smiles and says how kind I am, my whole body gets all tingly and ticklish. I feel embarrassed to even look at her. And everything she says always surprises me. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking about how cool you looked just now. Huh? I never thought she'd tell me I was cool at a time like this. I was just trying to find a lost kid. Couldn't understand at all what was cool about that. What's cool is for me to show off how strong I am, to stand above other Ayakashi, all other Ayakashi, and be told I'm better than anyone else. Like, what a douchey reason. Still, that's why I intend to rule Sakuratani, and when I do, anyone would tell me I'm cool. And even her, of course. I did think about how it would feel if she were to call me cool. I thought that wouldn't be bad at all. But it's already happened now in this situation. I'd never have guessed it would. And now that it did happen, it was 100 times more embarrassing. So much so I was shaken. To be kind is to be cool, huh? Different people think different things are cool. Like, I don't believe power is necessarily cool. For example, there are people in power who abuse it to harm others. I don't think anything like that could be cool. I personally think helping out someone in need and being kind to others is much cooler. I'm helping out me. I'm in need. And I'm being kind to Orochi. Therefore, I'm cool. Would it be the douche logic there? I heard her words inside my head again. Thought I could never be cool without power. Can anyone be cool without power? It was also unexpected, so I honestly didn't understand how you could be cool by being kind. It's cool to be kind. Anyway. But she looked so happy when she said that, and I could never bring myself to challenge her. It's like I forgot how to read for a second there. Like, if she keeps thinking that I'm cool, then it might be okay for me to keep being who I am now. And that was the thought that crossed my mind. Shu, what's wrong? Called out to, I came back to my senses. Nothing. Come on, let's hurry and find the other kid. I pick up my pace, practically avoiding her gaze. What the hell am I thinking, feeling that I might be okay as I am now? I never have thought this a little while ago. But after meeting her, all sorts of things within me started to change. I felt it happening, but as if to turn away from that, I focused back on the search. Do. Okay, there you go. So, back. Boop. Let's go to the title. Yes. Please do not close the game. We are saving your data. Secret file. Secret. What's our completion checklist like? Well, we don't have anything for Sammy's Red, obviously. Akuro should be 100%, right? Yo. I'm just making sure. I mean, well, okay, obviously, like, because we've done the... Yeah. As long as we got that, because, like, I'm just making sure we didn't miss it. Obviously, his is not, because we haven't finished his routes. Finale route! We've done nothing! What? Anyway. We've managed the prologue. Doot, doot. Okay. Wait, we got all of them, right? Yeah, I just... We'll get the rest of his during the thing. Hide the instructions. Left, right, display differences is A. Okay. This one doesn't have one. His angry face is funny because you're like, look at his little baby face. He does look good there. I mean, the CGs are good in the game. That one's a good one. He's kind of like got a wolfy face there with his like ears and the way the hair's sticking out. It's like holding my hand. Oh, I don't have much to say for the most part. No. Forgot about that one. Anyway, but yeah. This one's so funny. She looks like a chipmunk, and he's like a drunk elf over here. I don't know if she's just like, the actual fuck is happening. It's so great. This one's cute too. Yeah, so I mean, we did his route, obviously. This is it. I said everything I needed to say. Like, I think they gave so much of a backstory that was so amazing. And then, but they just kind of glossed over it because that's just the way the game was gonna go. But it's like, man, you had such an effort in creating this backstory that you could have done so much with, and then you didn't, you know? But shit happens. Deep, deep, deep. I just like doing that. Anyway. But yeah, but then that whole bullshit in his row where he's like, what the hell? You were gonna lie to me? And it's like, you've been lying to me. What? And we never called him out on that. It was just like, okay, now it's fine. And like, wait, what? Anyway. That one's cute. But it does look like a little kid, like, oh, thank God you're home! Like, to their mom or their little sister or some shit. It's like adorable. It's kind of funny that that's like the Kiss CG that was there for half a second. And then there's this one, and that's the other version of that CG. And then we're back to the beginning. That one. You know, I think so far from... Oops, no, that's what I wanted to do. Hide. He's like brooding and bitchy, but that's like the Shu that we know. I mean, the route's not bad. He's not my favorite. Hiro wasn't my favorite either, although Hiro's route was really good, but... I mean, the routes are good, but like Akuto's still somehow my favorite. Okay, Samey's my favorite. But like Akuto's route out of all of them has been good so far. And I do enjoy Shiratsky, but anyway. Yeah, we will do his other ending and the bad ending and all that in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.